Well, it's one of the biggest nights of the year in American politics, the State of the Union address. Earlier today, Australian time, Donald Trump gave a rousing speech that energised Republicans and angered Democrats. The president's message was simple and reminiscent of Muhammad Ali. I am the greatest. To go through the highlights, I'm joined by Professor Simon Jackson, an honorary professor at the University of Sydney. His political knowledge is second to none. Simon, welcome to McKnight Tonight.
Good to be with you.
Look, were there any surprises in Trump's State of the Union speech for you?
Great question. No is the answer. We've seen a few of these, and maybe that's just me. I'm very sensitive to the political context and what Trump was trying to do. Over the years, we've gotten accustomed to the Democrats getting increasingly angry and reacting.
Yes.
That's a sort of a Trump development. And then the other thing that's happened in the Trump era too is really calling out individuals in the balconies and even bestowing awards in real time, but really going after the Democrats, trying to get a rise out of them and succeeding, as it turns out.
Yeah, we'll get to that, don't you worry.
Vintage Trump, and so none of that was especially surprising, nor was the length. He likes a good long speech, and this was right up there as well, approaching 2 hours, par for the course.
It's the longest one in like 60 years, at least 60 years, isn't it?
Yeah, Trump's been breaking all the records for these. I'm not surprised if this one ended up being even longer than some of the other very long ones he's given, yeah.
Now, there's probably no surprise. Fact checkers have said many of his statements were factually incorrect. Does his base care?
No, they don't. And as much as anything, it's about the theatre of it. It's about getting a rise out of the Dems. They'll be the clips that get played on Fox News and other media, and indeed online media outlets that his base are drawn to. And critically though, and this was the thing about the first hour of the speech in particular, Trump really trying to lay out a positive message, a set of positive messages about what they've accomplished. Before he got into this very second hour, was really going after the Dems and trying to get a rise out of them. So his base one.
There certainly were two acts to it. Let's go right back to the beginning, where he gave what I thought was what you would expect from a State of the Union address. Let's have a look.
Our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
That's the kind of thing you expect. We're doing great. Our State of the Union is strong, all that kind of messaging.
Absolutely. And the response too, the Republicans on their feet cheering, and the minority party in the House of Reps, the Democrats sitting down. That's standard. And it was that's right. Remember the context here. This is the State of the Union in late February. We've got midterm elections coming up. The entire House of Reps and 1/3 of the Senate is up for re-election in November. The Republicans have a precarious hold on their majority in the House of Reps. It is about setting the agenda. What are the arguments that Republicans can take back home and help get themselves reelected? So Trump is telling every president wants to do that, but in this context in particular, what is the good news story about what they've accomplished in his first year of his second term?
Yeah, and we know he's certainly worried about the midterm elections. But then in his speech, he ramped up the rhetoric, playing to that idea of setting the agenda.
Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
It certainly had it all, didn't it? I mean, was
Come
it a
on
State
down.
of the Union or a Saturday night variety show?
You got it right. That's what I'm thinking. Right, come on down and bring them in, and Trump, the made-for-TV president, master showman, and not going to let those moments go. But each year, it seems that level of theatricality goes higher and higher and higher for Trump. It's one thing, you got the war heroes, and that's par for the course. You got the aggrieved families, struck by tragedy or whatnot, and you got those too. But this sort of bringing the men's hockey team with their gold medals on and this tired of winning, we're going to win until you're tired of winning. That is, no president other than Donald Trump does that, and gets away with it the way Trump seems to.
And he does. He gets away with it. Next year, I expect him to come in with sparkle flames going everywhere. But you've pointed this out. The Democrats did not stand for those standing ovation parts in the speech, except at one point, which really seemed to surprise Trump. Let's take a look.
As we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market, let's also ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information. They stood up for that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she's here? Doubt it. Pass the Stop Insider Trading Act without delay.
He seemed genuinely surprised by that, but couldn't help taking the jibe at Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah. Even when something surprisingly good from his perspective happened, he's got to twist the knife a little bit. There's also a remark there. Wow, I'm surprised that my Republicans stood up for that one too. But that's a very popular piece of legislation that's been proposed. The idea that there are prohibitions on the amount of stock trading and disclosures about the trades that members of Congress are making. It's long been thought by both sides of politics. That's all a little bit too cozy sometimes. Some of the information that comes to members of Congress can lead to personal enrichment, and who could be opposed to that? So, of course, the Dems are going to stand for it, particularly the camera zoomed in there on Elizabeth Warren, senator from Massachusetts. That's been a long-standing issue for her personally, and so plenty of Dems are for that issue. Not controversial, but they'd be for that one.
Yeah, no, and look, it's probably more about his thinking because he wouldn't have stood up for anything that his competitor was saying. But look, the night was not without controversy. We saw audience members nodding off while others seemed to struggle to keep their eyes open. There we go. And Democratic Congressman Al Green was ejected from the chamber for the second year in a row over a sign he was holding up. But things really descended when Trump talked about illegal aliens. He got angry at the Democrats for not standing up when he declared, and I quote, "The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens." Let's take a look at what happened next.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
This really is an issue that divides the nation, isn't it?
Yeah, and the thing that Trump didn't say, of course, is that, these masked brigades of border force people have killed 3 American citizens on the streets, and so he does a dance around the corner on that one and points to, this illegal alien crisis, and that the duty of the government is to protect U.S. citizens. Well, how about 3 dead U.S. citizens who are exercising their First Amendment rights in the main, and getting in between those border force officials, ICE officials, and their operations. But three of them dead, and this enrages the Democrats. The idea that, and it's where they really lost their temper, as you can see in the footage there. But it's on this issue, right? It's the way Trump framed it would infuriate the Dems, and I wasn't surprised to see in the second hour. I think the Dems came into the night thinking it's not a good look for us to be screaming at the president, but that was just a bridge too far deep into the second hour when Trump was twisting the knife there and leaving out the fact that, almost 180-degree pivot, as Trumpers want to do, of what's happened in the United States in recent months.
Yeah, and the Democrats, they did try to behave, and he tried to behave. It's like you say, it was after the first hour where everyone just went, nah, we're done. It's going too long. Yeah. But the Democrats had released the files, badges, and obviously he didn't talk about the Epstein files, but no surprises there, right?
No, he's not going to talk about that. Indeed, it's accentuate the positive and minimize the negative. So there's no way the Epstein files are going to get a mention. Just in the same way, there's no way that, plenty of missteps by this administration, including the death of 3 US citizens at the hands of ICE, is going to get a mention. Rather, reframe the immigration issue as one about border security, keeping the country safe, lower crime rates in Washington, D.C., all that sort of bravado, and completely sidestepping the thing that completely galvanized the United States and the world, for that matter, in recent months. And that's the incredibly vivid, incredibly tragic actions of ICE agents on the streets of American cities.
Yeah, and he mentioned cheaper prescription price drugs during his speech as well. What would that mean for Australia's pharmaceutical benefit scheme?
I don't think anything. I think a couple of things have happened there. The Australian government, for its part, has said just no way. And both sides of Australian politics, by the way, this came up briefly in the 2025 election campaign, and when Peter Dutton was asked, but it's just there's no way. An immensely popular and immensely valuable program like the PBS would ever. No Australian government is ever going to put that on the table, or let it get onto the table in any trade negotiations with the United States.
No, but Big Pharma in the US hates it.
That's right, but 28 million Australians love it on both sides of politics, and so that ain't going anywhere. And I think when he's talking about Big Pharma, what he's primarily got in mind is actually trying to fix the United States drug pricing problem. Where they don't have something like the PBS, where the free market there, does reign, and some of them close to monopoly setting, perhaps some of those big pharmaceutical companies. I mean, some of the medications we enjoy here in Australia at affordable prices are just crushing a lot of families in the United States.
Yeah, he's playing a good. He bringing drug prices down is quite good. And the line during tariffs discussion, he mentioned, I mean, he still doesn't understand how tariffs work, but I did find it interesting when he said, it's my aim to use tariffs to get rid of income tax. That's pretty revolutionary, and I think would be very popular with voters.
Yeah. But completely unrealistic.
Okay.
Just completely nuts. And the other thing, if you even went down that road, it's essentially a consumption tax. And consumption taxes fall on the people that consume more of their income rather than less, at least proportionally, and that's the poor. And so it's not a great policy from that perspective. And by the way, just the sheer implementation of it is kind of nuts. So far, the Trump tariffs have yielded like 1-2% of what the United States ordinarily takes in through other forms of taxation. The extent to which you'd have to turn the dial on tariffs is just sort of gobsmacking to even get halfway close to replacing income taxes in any meaningful way, and the damage and the dislocation that would ensue across the U.S. economy. And there's no way you're offsetting that with what you should give back in income taxes, it would seem to me.
I want to end with one last clip. He gave away a few congressional medal honors. One of the highest honour you can give out. And he made this comment, which just tickled my fancy. Let's have a look.
Okay.
Thank you, Royce, and thank you, Eric. I've always wanted the Congressional Medal of Honor, but I was informed I'm not allowed to give it to myself, and I wouldn't know why I'd be taking it, but if they ever open up that law, I will be there with you someday.
He loves a medal.
All the prizes. He wants the Nobel Peace Prize. He wants the Congressional Medal of Honor. Can't award it to himself. It's just like, really, dude, it's all about you, isn't it? It's all about Trump.
We've gone from every kid gets a prize to I get all the prizes. Professor Simon Jackman, your insights have been fabulous. Thank you so much for joining us on McKnight Tonight.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Have you checked out the latest range of McKnight Tonight merch? You could look sexy in a t-shirt or even one of these caps. Or you could have a Rob's Rant with me every day by getting your own mug. But maybe you're the kind of person who prefers a back-end quickie. Well, you can get them all and more at McKnightTonight.myshopify.com. That's McKnightTonight.myshopify.com. Get some merch, help us out, and you'll look good doing it.
Here comes